some sodas in there. You got your dues. You paid your dues.
Have you paid your dues?
You have. Here you go, Brandon.
Hey, thanks.
Starting off with some going to the mountains of dew.
Obviously, there's a pandemic going on, and so it's harder to get into certain stores, or it's more painful to go to certain stores, right?
Yeah.
That was my guess to why. Usually, we have like a good supply of ginger, either a ginger beer.
Oh, I do have some ginger beers. I just didn't have anything special. That's why I was like, oh, bring something, bring your own.
Okay. Well,
BYOB.
My excuse.
BOYGB. Bring your own ginger beer.
My excuse is that then, like, I haven't gone I haven't gone to find any kind of cool, drinks, because it's more painful to do that right now.
You could die, but anyway.
Yeah.
You could die, but you know what? I'm willing to. That's a chance I'm willing to take for a good ginger beer, Brandon.
Yeah.
So in these troubled times. What better comfort is there than just having a nice ginger beer kind of burning at the down your throat, and then settle in your stomach and make it feel good. I mean, that's actually anyway. But okay, so welcome to the Gnostic Deluge.
Yeah,
we're back, and
it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, we. What was it? I was just like, what happened last weekend? Anyway,
I think it ended up being I just think we just both weren't ready. Agreed to go one more week.
Yeah. We're just like, I just wasn't feeling the vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. No, it's July right now and it's hot.
Yeah, I just hadn't had enough time to really wrap my mind around this one, because we were talking about this one was especially the correspondence. Yeah. Okay,
so let's
just get into this.
The quick background is last week not the background, but just to be on the right track. Last recording we discussed the divine paradox, and that was a good chapter.
Yeah,
I liked I've been still thinking a lot about that. It's that logic has made its way into my daily logic. I'm not jumping off any buildings or anything, because now I understand that this is, even though that this is all in a mental thing, and it's all at one level kind of an illusion. Yeah, it's very real to me.
Well, I ran out after that episode and bought a new pair of shoes.
Did you?
I got a new paradox.
Whatever, man.
No, but
were they made in the UK, or were they?
Well, they don't make them in the UK anymore. Now they're made in China or wherever they're made. Anyway, but a paradox, dude. I've been living in a paradox for so long. But anyway, no, it's true though, because it is a lot to think about, because you're just like. You got the ultimate goal or whatever, but then you're like, well, but this is reality too. So yeah. That's it. So you have to live with that and try to figure out how to negotiate your way through it, I guess.
But you have to have respect for what's real, even if you understand there's a higher way to look at it. Yeah. So that was a good chapter. Mm-hmm. And so today, I think what Mark was getting ready to say, and I cut him off, is we're going to do we kind of skipped the all in all, the all in the all.
Yeah, because it's more about,
but we'll be referring to things probably that mentions, because I know there's a few things that are in that chapter that help you a little bit understand
the law of correspondence. Because because the chapter is titled. The planes of correspondence. Yeah. So all of a sudden you're like, wait. So they say they're going to talk about the principle of correspondence, and they don't so much address it in this chapter, and they had addressed it a tiny bit in the other chapter. So
to a certain degree,
hopefully this makes sense. Anyway, we're all talking about how this.
Yeah. Forget that part. We'll go on. We'll move on. But if you want to, make sure that you get the introduction. The introduction talks about the law of correspondence a little bit better than the law this chapter does.
Well, and if remember the little thing that we talked summary that they gave, the initial ones, those are really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just read really quick because this is what we're going to be supposed to be talking about. It says there is always a correspondence between the laws and phenomenon of the various planes of being and life. Okay. Grasping this principle gives one the means of solving many a dark paradox and a hidden secret of nature. The principle is of universal application and manifestation in the various planes of the material, mental, and spiritual universe. And then a knowledge of the principle of correspondence. This is kind of... Okay, so a knowledge of the principle of correspondence enables man to reason intelligently from the known to the unknown. Studying the monad, he understands the archangel. Brandon said that a few times.
Yeah, I love that.
So that's basic. What the principle is, in a summary. So just try thinking about that as we're going over this, I guess. I don't know. What's the saying from the Kybalion?
As above, so below. As below, so above. That's right.
Probably the most famous. That's probably the most famous Hermetic maxim.
And from what I remember reading about the Kybalion, the Kybalion, it insists that it's based on an original record, right? But out of all the things that we have historically, that we have through like ancient texts, this as above, so below is one of the only things that scholars can say, yeah, well, that is something that we've seen that before.
Yeah, because actually I have a thing, if you've heard of the Emerald Tablets.
Yeah.
Or Emerald Tablet.
Emerald Tablet,
not tablets. Okay, because real quick, the Emerald Tablet is was one tablet, supposedly written by Thoth, or Tethu or whatever the heck. Anyway, and then somebody else put the in the 1930s. This is from my understanding. There was that one tablet, and then this guy, through divine revelation kind of thing, or through, it's like where you spirit right or whatever, received the rest of those. So
really,
if you see the Emerald Tablets book and it has there's a bunch of other ones, that was the later stuff was written later, and not to say that, not to dismiss that other stuff, but I'm just saying, but there was an original tablet, and that other it's not parts are
exactly. I don't think I realized that.
No, neither did I because I was all looking to, I was like, oh, the Emerald Tablets, and stuff, and looking into it, and all of a sudden there was one version where it was just a bunch of translations of the same one, and I was like, why would you want that? And then I found out, oh, well, the rest of the tablets, were revealed later or whatever, were manifest.
The original, the Emerald Tablet it's fairly short, I believe, right?
Yeah. It's only like a good paragraph long. Yeah. Actually, Sir Isaac Newton made his own translation of it and stuff. It was one that a lot of the Renaissance people, and they can get it as far back as into the early or the late hundreds, within Arabia and stuff, the Arabians. And they were, anyway, but
thank you to that culture for
preserving all this stuff. Yeah. You know what, that's the thing, is that people look at Muslim culture and stuff, there was so much that was preserved, and people think of it nowadays and they're like, oh, they're so rigid and blah, but it's like, dude, these guys actually, a lot of what we know with Aristotle and all these different people was actually preserved through them, because and there's mystic
other forms, exactly, they have their mystical branch,
which would be interesting to some. I don't know what it is, but there's mystic. What would it be called? Islam, I guess.
Yeah, I think I don't want to be. I don't want to. Yeah, there's some kind of like Islamic mysticism.
But I don't know exactly what that entails, but I'm just saying that they preserved a lot of stuff, just like a lot of the Christian monks. Even though the church as a whole may have been intolerant of other things, the monks preserved a lot of things too, secretly.
Correct. Yeah.
Anyway, it's just an interesting. But
that was a bonus history. We gave you a little bonus history.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So don't. Oh, you can't always just throw all religions under the bus, kind of thing. Sometimes you don't realize that they actually contributed to a lot of stuff. So don't always judge something by what you read or what you've been told by people. So anyway,
if you don't have time to listen to the rest of this podcast, that was the moral of the story right there.
It is. How does that correspond to the law of correspondence or the principle? Anyway, so anyway, to make a long story short, the as above, so below kind of comes from the Emerald Tablet.
That's right.
And I just wrote a translation of one. I translated it myself. No, this is one by Ruba.
Okay.
His transliteration or whatever. It says, that which is above is like unto that which is below, and that which is below is like unto that which, and that which is below is like unto that which is above, in order to perform the miracles of the one. Okay, and then, as all things were from one by meditation of the one, thus all things are born from the one by adaptation. So it kind of, I thought that was a little more, because you're like, as above, so below, kind of like, well, what does that even mean? But it's like, it goes on and says, well, because all things came from the one. What is it? From the one, and thus are related, kind of to explain it a little more, that go on a little step further.
Yeah. No, I get that. The more you think about it, especially, and there's a part of this, I'll get to that part later, I think, but there was, no, I won't, I'll just say it right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, actually, we skipped it, actually. There's, in the chapter before this, in the all, mm-hmm. one of the key concepts that I took from that was, and I really appreciated it because it helped me understand this planes of correspondence a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Is the idea is not only is everything in the all, right? So not only is everything in the all, but the all is in everything.
Yeah.
And when you say the all in the all and the all is in the all, it's confusing.
Yeah, it's like, well, but that's a common saying too. That's the one of the things they point out, because if you ever go to like a Christian church, especially they'll sing about the all in all, and you're like, what? Because I wasn't really raised in that. But,
correct.
So it's a common thing, but what exactly that means is interesting. And like you said, it's not only that how did you say it?
So I'm replacing the all with everything. So not only is everything in the all.
Yeah, which is, okay, so you take it, you're like, okay, all the creation is in the mind of the all, right? Okay.
Let's just break it down one more level. Not only is everything inside the mind of God.
Yeah.
But God, or the mind of God at least, is inside of everything.
Yeah. But
and that is a paradox in itself, right?
Yeah, you're like, well, how's that? Okay, well, you want to go down this road?
Yeah, so
you want to open up this
and
this paradox?
The way
what size
to
you wear?
12.
All right.
But in UK size, I wear 45. I think it's 45.
45 or 46.
It's 46.
Well, it depends.
Okay. Anyways, so the way that I've always understood that is a couple of years ago I used to give this other way to explain it, but now this book actually has a better way. I used to think about a carpenter, and if you were a carpenter and you're like building chairs and tables and stuff, right? You're crafting them, you're putting your time into it. To a certain degree, your signature would be in your creations. Like a someone who is really really proficient at reviewing and inspecting woodwork would be able to go, this was made by Brandon.
Yeah, like the way the joint
yeah.
fits together, like a...
Correct.
Like Ethan Allen had a certain way that he would, or whatever,
Correct.
but,
yeah.
famous.
So someone who actually somebody who was really perceptive and spent a lot of time.
Or even how they made their own nails, this is the process that.
And so they would be, so there's like a signature in all the things that I create. If I was a carpenter, there'd be a signature in all the things I create, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's how I used to understand it. In the Kybalion and the chapter of the All in the All, it uses artists as an example.
Let me walk you through it.
Go for it.
I came up with... I wrote this down because I was like, this is actually...
Mark has rewritten the whole Kybalion almost.
Yeah. Like, I made it from... We were talking about how this is like a 9 or 80 page book, but we're, and it's 4 hours reading, maybe if an audio book, listen to it straight through. But we're making it a 50-hour podcast. Anyway, okay, so the idea that they use, correspondence, and basically it's like, so the idea of correspondence is that if you can do something a certain way, like they use, an author forms an idea of a character.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. The image is in the author's mind, kind of,
Yep.
So kind of, yet the author is immanent or abiding in it, like you were saying. It's in his mind, but he is eminent in it. Okay, if that makes sense. So the entire virtue, life, spirit of reality is made in the author's mind of whatever this character is. So I used Garfield. Right?
Okay.
Garfield is Jim Davies' creation.
Okay. I forgot who it was, but yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Jim Davis? Is that his name? Okay.
So Garfield was created in Jim Davis's mind, yet a part of Jim Davis exists in Garfield, right?
Yeah.
That is giving the character his vitality, spirit, action. Like Garfield hates Mondays. Loves lasagna.
That's right.
Hates Odie.
I forgot that.
Like he has these different characteristics, but
But Jim Davis is in Odie too, right?
That's right. And he's in...
What's this guy's name?
John.
John?
Yeah, he's in John and the girl cat.
I can't remember that.
The gray cat. I can't... Yeah. Anyway. But, so who is Garfield, right? So, is he his own reality? Because on the cartoon, on the comic page or whatever, you're reading it and he's his own, we're actually giving him personality, anyway, even us. So is he his own reality or is he Jim Davies' reality? Okay. Hopefully this doesn't get too.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Garfield loves lasagna. Maybe Jim Davis hates lasagna. You know what I'm saying? So are they the same person? No. Okay. So this is kind of where the law of paradox, because this is the paradox. Is Garfield his own person or his own cat? Or is he Jim Davis's cat? I don't know if that... But Garfield is Garfield, and yet he's Davis. Jim Davis.
No, I see that makes sense.
So Garfield may be said to be Davis, yet Davis is not identical to Garfield. Okay, so there's you're kind of like, what? And Garfield may say that the spirit, this is what he says. I couldn't think that Garfield may say the spirit of my creator is inherent within me, yet I am not Jim Davis.
No.
But Garfield cannot say I am Jim Davis.
Now let's go one more. You have more to say on that? 'Cause I want to take it further now.
Wait, are we still okay?
Okay, so Garfield is not Jim Davis is not Garfield.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is can Garfield ever truly see and become aware of face to face as one man talks to another, Jim Davis?
I don't know. I mean, you may have taken it too far, Brandon.
Yeah, am I taking him too far? But the thing is, like,
he's a comic, Brandon.
Here's another question: Can Garfield, can Jim Davis create a rock
so big that Garfield can't lift it?
That Garfield can't lift it?
Yes, he can.
But can he now? But can
Garfield create a rock so big? Or can Jim Davis create a lasagna so big that Garfield can't eat it? And can Jim Davis create a Monday so good that Garfield will enjoy it?
All right.
I hate Mondays, man. Freaking Garfield. Classic.
Yeah, classic. Thanks for bringing that up. I haven't seen Garfield in a long time.
Yeah, that crazy orange cat.
Yeah.
Like that was, remember Heathcliff?
Heathcliff. It was Heathcliff and Garfield.
Yeah.
Garfield was like more timeless.
Well, but Heathcliff was before Garfield.
Was he?
He's like...
So
he's like the Cro-Magnon man.
So that's the question now is how much of Garfield... How much is Heathcliff in Garfield?
Dude, this is like deep. Anyway, so that's just an illustration of kind of this correspondence. Like you take something how you've understand it, and you're like you try to make it, put it into a bigger perspective, and then it hopefully can widen your mind in the way you think about things, I guess.
Yeah, and there's a lot. There's many different levels to take it and to apply it.
Or do you want to close the?
To be useful.
I keep looking over there.
To be for it to be useful, right?
Yeah.
This is the law of correspondence is useful. Let's get into the planes of it.
Okay. Well, so anyway, but the idea is, if this is true, if that whole thing with our own little finite mind, the little is that we can see how deep this can go, how much more profound is it with an infinite mind, like the mind of God. So hopefully that lays some groundwork for a little bit of the principle of correspondence. I think it does.
Yeah, it does. We did a good job there.
Freaking Garfield, thank you. And thank you, Jim Davis.
Yeah.
So, all right. The first thing I have written is that truth is truth because all in the universe emanates from the same source, the all. Because of this, the same laws, principles, and characteristics apply to each unit on the various planes, no matter what. And the various areas of the universe, same laws, principles, and characteristics. They're united throughout the universe. I mean, you might have different gravity and stuff, but all of that stuff is...
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to think of it with my finite mind.
I have a certain way to explain this too.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
But it takes a little bit. So.
Uh-oh. Is this... What are we going for now?
No, it's...
Marmaduke?
No. Calvin and Hobbes. No.
Oh, dude, Calvin and Hobbes will get us to the deepest understanding.
No, this is actually going more the Dilbert way. So, anyways,
Dilbert.
This has to do with the way computers work. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I think it applies well because I'm not.
Good.
Because our existence, actually, from what I can observe, doesn't differ too much from the way computers work.
You've been reading too much of that guy. What's that one? The How to Make a Human Mind.
Oh, right, Ray Kurzweil.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
I need to get that. Anyway.
Yeah, so on. Here's how. So in the computer, in computers, in software, computers just receive instructions, right? Just ones and zeros.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such.
As far as I understand,
they have no correct. There's no way for a computer to create a random number, because random doesn't actually exist. Not only does random not exist in our reality, but random it can't exist in computers either. There's no way to make a random number. Okay, so in order for a computer, if you're playing a computer game or using a computer software, and something happens, like if you shuffle a deck of cards in a computer game, or if you roll a dice on like a casino software, you would like to think that it's random, but it's not. It's not random because computers can't create random things. So what they do is you have to use something called a seed.
Okay.
And usually computer software, from what I can tell, when I write software, I'm a software engineer, right? When I write software, the best kind of seeds to use, and most programming languages.
When he created the Apple iOS system.
Yeah. Most software uses like a nanosecond or like a time snippet, right? So it takes what a computer will do if a computer is going to roll a virtual dice, the software will take note.
Paradise.
Yeah, paradise. Yeah.
Paradox.
Yeah, exactly.
Paradise. Anyways,
sorry.
Mark. I'll quit interrupting. I was doing this to my wife this morning too.
Really?
So I'll just stop.
So the computer will take these nanoseconds from January 1st, 1970, and the amount of nanoseconds or microseconds or actually milliseconds from that. Actually, it's in nano. Anyways, it'll take this long, 15, 20 character number, right? That's rotating, right? Every nanosecond. I mean, we've already gone through 10,000 nanoseconds in the last second, right? Okay. So nanoseconds are rotating very quickly. So it's a great way to use something unique. So
generate randomness? Or supposed randomness?
So exactly. It's called pseudo-randomness. So anyways, what will happen is the computer takes note, or the software takes note of this, creates a seed, which is some crazy long bunch of characters, A, B, 0, 3, this long seed. And it will use that seed to fake randomness, right? But so you roll a pair of dice virtually in the game, and because of the math with that seed, and then other functionality in the program, it rolls a 6 and a 4 on the 2 dice.
Yeah.
And when you roll it again, it's a 3 and a 2. But what happens is if you were to stop the program and restart it, and if the computer program was going to use the exact same seed that it used last time, then it would roll the 6 and the 4 again. And it would roll the 3 and the 2 again.
Oh, it's kind of like I've done that where you go on a mix. Sure. And you shuffle, but it keeps shuffling the same, and you're like, wait, what's
because that? It's not actually random. It configures it beforehand. And so the computer already knows what's going to come next. And so here's the thing and now think about that seed and how it rolled the dice the same way. And think about other things happening that the same seed is using. Or so let's say another part of the casino program is shuffling. It uses that same seed.
Well,
so everything is going to be, in a way, affected by the same source.
Okay.
And almost predictable if you have the amount of brain power to figure out how that 6 and a 4 were rolled, and if you had the infinite mind, or if you were able to do the math good enough, you'd be able to kind of predict what other things are going to happen because you know what the seed is.
Well, that's that. I've never read it, but I want to get the Isaac Asimov.
Oh yeah,
Foundation.
Isaac Asimov. Isaac Asimov.
Asimov, yeah. But where this guy, it's because he's calculated or whatever you told me about.
It's called psychohistory.
Yeah, where he's done it to where he's put things into progression that 1,000 years into the future it'll bear fruit or whatever.
Yeah, he predicts what's going to happen. So anyways, but that is how everything is. So in a computer program, everything is related. Everything is the same invisible number. So it's kind of affecting everything.
Okay. Now I was like, wait. I was like, what is this? But now the kind of like the source code, like if it's from, like we said, born from the one source code, it's all correspond. It'll all correspond, kind of like that.
Exactly.
Like if the Big Bang or God or whatever is the source code, it all the things emanate from that and into it. Kind of like it all corresponds.
And
to
even
that.
if they're completely unrelated things,
or you think they are,
even if you think they seem to be completely unrelated, being affected by the same thing, there is commonality in them, and you can find similar behaviors, even if they're completely different things.
And they're still subject, even though they seem like they're outside of, the way we know things. They're still under law too.
And we see that in reality. We see that in our reality.
Yeah.
When we look, there's like these numbers that mathematicians, like the seashell,
or mathemagicians, like what's his name used to call him.
Yeah, I remember that. Who was that?
He had the beard. He was Muslim. He had converted.
Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know how a seashell has like the swirl in it. Mm-hmm. And all seashells have like that same like algorithm to how they're created.
Yeah.
And we see that in like different things around the world. That's an example. Like we can see this in our reality too.
Yeah.
Like there's like some numbers like we've gone and find these numbers and like this number and mathematicians can like and the same thing is in the human iris. The same thing is in the...
Dude, I had a French fry that was shaped like the number 1. I had a whole basket of them.
They were all shaped like the one,
dude. And then I had onion rings right by them, shaped like zeros. Ones and zeros, my friend. Computer.
Well, let's get on to the planes because that was
a
rabbit hole right there.
Anyway, no, okay. So that the thing that we're trying to do is make sense of the correspondence, and we're doing a lot better job than what is in this chapter, because the guy gets lost into this plane thing where he's talking about these different. But they are important.
So he uses the word plane in a little bit of a different way than I've ever understood it before.
Okay. So here, let me give you the 3 planes just real quick. The great physical plane, the great mental plane, and the great spiritual plane. Now, how does he use planes? He's like dimension, like up,
exactly.
down.
So like in our like, I go back to like fantasy and like science fiction. To me, a plane is like a different like sphere of existence.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And whenever he explained it, I was kind of like, what? Like,
yeah, but that's not. He's understanding planes in a different way.
And they're not the things that have wings that fly.
Correct.
Either.
They're not that kind of plane either. But they are different divisions of the same existence. Or different level. He should say levels.
Yeah.
He should be saying
that's
levels.
what I'm saying. That's where let's just put it in what we see it as is that the different levels of existence, like different levels of the physical plane, of the mental existence, of the spiritual. Let's use that.
If I could quote something from the first book of the Corpus Hermeticum, the Pomandries.
Okay.
There's a part the creation story. I'm just going to paraphrase it because I don't have it in front of me. There's a part in the creation story, and there's a few parts in there where it refers to the downward nature.
Oh, yeah.
Without reason.
Yeah.
And what he's referring to is like this very bottom level.
That's the physical.
I
like that.
Natural stuff and doesn't have reason. That's not intelligent.
Yeah.
Right. He's referring to like the minerals and the rocks and like the water and stuff, right? That's
where the term "dumb as a rock" comes from.
Yeah, it is.
Actually, I don't know if you knew that.
That's rock comes up
like rocks are so stupid.
So So basically the great physical plane, and it took me a while to kind of grasp this, is in the Poemandres, he's mentioning these. He doesn't go around and say the word plane, or he doesn't even say level, but he does a few times say the downward leaning nature, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's basically giving a description of like, not only is it nature, but it's like lower level nature.
Yeah.
And that makes more sense when you look at the way this whole like levels and planes here. Is there's different levels of awareness and consciousness, right?
Yeah, because so and that's the thing, which is that's why we're here, to explain what is not clear. Hopefully,
yeah, we'll see. About that.
I mean, we're trying to make sense of it. So the physical plane. We'll just take the physical plane. I wrote a division of phenomena of the universe that includes all that relates to physics, i.e. material things, forces, manifestations, all forms of matter, energy, and force, according to what he said. So just the basic things that aren't not the thinking things, I guess.
Yeah.
But also laws are included in it, right? I guess.
Yeah, that's on the list, right?
That's on the list.
I can see that, right?
Yeah.
Well, I can see that laws are there. They don't have a law. Doesn't have it. It doesn't have like a awareness.
Yeah, it's just what happens, I guess. Yeah. Well, okay, man. These notes are very, like I said, I got a lot of stuff. Well, okay, so anyway, there's the physical plane, the mental, and the spiritual plane.
So now there's should I mention the difference between them, or should we go? You have something else to say first?
Well, I was gonna say what creates the various planes is vibration.
That's what I was gonna say too.
Oh,
damn. So that's the difference.
Dude, we're like vibrating.
Yeah, we are on the same. We are vibrating on the same part on the same pole.
Is the camera moving right now?
So that's the only difference between something residing on the physical plane versus something that resides on the mental plane is their vibration. According
to what? Okay, but the paradox is the human, like even animals, you have something that's on the physical plane but also on the mental plane.
Correct. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not saying that's a paradox, but I'm saying, but you have some things that are wrapped up, and actually
that's the principle of gender too, though. That's
the Poemandres thing.
Yeah.
Where, like, you had the wrapped up this.
That's what is so unique about humans.
Yeah, or
is the first man. Man is both physical and mental.
Well, or even high spiritual, because I mean, animals too are mental.
Yeah. I don't know how to point to something and say where they're at.
Actually, this isn't. I'm just saying this is like some of the things where.
So answer this.
But we're looking at it as that these planes can't. That you're rising, and there's just variations. You can be on variations of all the different. You could be like a very like low on the physical plane, high on the mental plane, and higher on the spiritual plane. Kind of like the. It's not necessarily that you're moving up into one, or whatever.
So that is how I understood it, actually.
I know, me too.
Okay.
But I'm saying right now you have us living on the physical plane and also on the mental plane. Okay, here's what I think I wrote this down. That we human beings are very unique. Okay. We're living in the physical plane and the mental plane. This is the standard human condition.
Yeah, totally.
What where the humans are unique is the spiritual plane, that we can actually move up on the spiritual plane. That's what differentiates, that's how you can escape the physical and the mental,
okay.
Or combine. I don't know. Anyway.
So we haven't said this yet. There is apparently, and I'm not sure if we're going to list them all out, but within each of these three planes, there are 7 sub.
Oh yeah, let's not go there.
There's 7 minor planes.
Okay.
And I think what's the real value.
I don't know where the
real value in that is not what the minor planes are called. To me, it's the knowledge that there's an element of progression in each plane.
Yeah.
So,
but what I'm saying is that you can be in one state in one. It doesn't make you. They're different planes of existence. This is where. Why did you use planes, man?
Yeah.
Mr. 3 Initiate?
Yeah.
Why? He's like, well, we're the 3 Initiates, so why not 3 planes, man?
William Walker.
Well, okay, so anyway,
you see how confusing this chapter was?
Yeah. So let me just read some more notes. Maybe we'll get some.
Mark's gonna read some more notes.
The atom of matter, the unit of force, the mind of man, the being of the archangel. These are all degrees of the same scale, differing in vibration. We're kind of going back to the vibration thing. Like you're like, whoa, what? How is that possible? But they're vibrating on a different thing. Matter is slow vibrating energy that make up the physical plane. So that's what matter is. It's just this energy that's slowly vibrating. I mean, I think that's pretty irrefutable.
Yeah.
Or is the basic science, understanding is that's what matter is. It's this vibrating whatever. Atoms.
Energy, some kind of energy.
Energy, yeah, that makes up this. And so that's the thing is that, but we're always confusing physical with spiritual. Maybe they all correspond though. Okay. Let me read some more. Law of correspondence or principle.
Interesting. What a coincidence.
But okay, so you have the physical plane, which is made up of energy, vibrating energy. Okay, you got the mental plane, which is living things that have mind, right? Like there's mineral mind. They break elemental mind.
Yeah.
Even I guess plant mind, animal mind, and human mind. So this is the interesting thing because actually we said something different just a minute ago, but now okay, so you have mineral mind, elemental mind, plant mind, animal mind, human mind. So living beings of the lower degree of development, they're of life and mind, molecules, atoms. Okay, all the things on the mental plane have loves and hates, likes and dislikes, attractions and repulsions, affinities and non-affinities. So this, like the mental, like for some reason maybe this is just trying to relate it to kind of our human way of thinking about it too. But I'm saying like naturally, different elements have repulsions and attractions and different things. I don't know where I'm confused, Brandon. Where am I?
In the mental plane.
I'm going mental is for sure.
Yeah. I think that the best way to look at it is just there's a progression. Yeah. Which in the Poimandres, the book 1 of the Corpus Hermeticum, there is a discussion on how breaking through the harmony does require breaking through different layers.
Yeah, actually breaking through, not because otherwise you're just stuck.
Yeah. So there is a concept of progression. Mm-hmm. And I think what this chapter is trying to say is that the progression in one plane can correspond to the progression in another plane, and that we can see them as the same thing.
Okay.
I don't think it's important to see them as the same thing. I don't think it matters too much for us, at least not from what I can tell. But I think that's the point. And that's my big take from the chapter, is that you start like a downward leaning, crude nature, the very
crude matter,
thing,
yeah,
like the very bottom,
yeah,
and through progression and awareness and reason, you can increase, and then what's important we haven't mentioned yet, which might be important to mention too, is in this chapter there's also discussion of when he goes in and talks about the 7 different layers of the spiritual mind.
Yeah,
that is in the realm of basically angels and gods and so forth, or at least from what different religions he's using the terminology, or he's using the terms from what different religions around the world have used.
Yeah.
But our understanding of the spiritual realm is at the very end is becoming one with the all. Mm-hmm. That's the goal. That's like in Eastern religion, that's like nirvana, right? That's in different Western religions, that's like your salvation. It's eventually breaking through and becoming one with the all.
Yeah, and that's where humans are uniquely, at least,
and especially
as far. But he even says that there's beings that are above us.
He did,
but we can actually become above, or raise ourselves up to.
He says that humans weren't the first.
That was one interesting thing that he says
to do that.
He says regular human mind is not on the highest plane of human mind.
There's like at least 3
or 4 higher. He talked about 4 races of human.
Yeah.
And this kind of reminded, and then that there's supposed to be 7 races of man. Anyway, it was weird. I don't know if this is some old thing. I don't know if this is where the idea that Hitler got with the master race, trying to make this perfect. Anyway.
Yeah, it could go back also to like the whole. It could go back to the like the Watchers and the gods, the in the mountains and going down and the Nephilim, the old like Enoch texts.
Part of it though too reminds me of evolution.
Yeah, the different
evolutionary theory, because I mean, there's who is the guy with the big eyebrow, Neanderthal man was existent on the at the same time as Homo sapien.
Well, there's evidence today. There's evidence that they've mixed.
Well, I know, but yeah, because there's certain percentage of the population that has a higher percentage of Neanderthal, and
that's how I took the Enoch story. Where the Adam and Eve.
Oh yeah.
I took it as you had one type of human that was more advanced.
Yeah, it came down,
and the whole point was like, don't go down to they just call them the daughters of men,
mm-hmm.
but don't go and mix with that other type of human. And then they eventually did, and they brought their technology with them.
Well, if you read that also in Mesopotamian, stuff, myths, there's all that stuff. And where they're actually engineering humans. Anyway, it's
crazy.
It goes like it's like you read it and you're like, what? Wait, how old is this thing? Like 3,000,
Yeah.
And that's probably where this comes from too. Is these, and even in the Greek myths, there was different men that were created and destroyed and created and destroyed. And actually this race of human being was supposed to be destroyed, but who was it that saved? Somebody warned them. Kind of like in the Noah story.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm saying, but there was these different degrees, and then so
Manu.
The gods were like, okay, I'm totally destroying you, and all this is where the deluge myths come, and all these different things is that one god is like, no, okay, hey, he's gonna do a flood, and he puts them in a chest or built an ark, or puts them. They go into the mountains, or up in a mountain, or into a hole. You know, like, and they're that human, whatever this race of human being that we're in was saved because one God was like, okay, I like these guys.
And so he's saying that there's been a previous type of human that has been more advanced than us.
Yeah, and some people on this are even advancing further. I don't know
exactly. He doesn't say it in those words, but
this is not a racial whatever thing. We're talking about humankind. Okay.
Yeah.
We're talking about human race as a whole. Just to let you know. But I like the 6th is the Superman. The 7th is the Overman. You know? It's like, where do they come up with these terms? Like, how would you know? Anyway.
So, you know what's funny is I didn't catch this before, but he does say in here, it says, you will kindly remember, however, that the 3 great planes are not actual divisions of the phenomena of the universe, but merely arbitrary terms.
And that's and
used by Hermetists.
Unfortunately, he's using these arbitrary terms and then getting lost in them, and we get lost in them.
Yeah, we've definitely gotten lost in them just now.
But anyway, okay, so the point, remember, correspondence. So the point is that all these things are related, they all correspond, all these planes that they follow certain rules. They're entitled to, or not entitled, they're bound by laws. Even the highest, you know, or as far besides the all or whatever, you know, is it all emanates from there, and there's laws that govern each thing. You can't break them. And this is an interesting thing. It says it was kind of using vibration and stuff, you know, but the piano.
Oh, I remember that, the black keys and white keys.
Yeah, the black keys and the white keys. It says we're not playing, like, currently you and I aren't playing all the keys on the piano. We're playing just with the white keys, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, we're playing Mary Had a Little Lamb, you know?
Yeah.
We're probably playing with just a finger on each.
Yeah.
So, and then you can add fingers, you know, and make chords, but you can only make so much with just the white keys, or, you know, what we have. He says, you can play some with only the white keys, but without the black keys, you can't play it all. Like, it adds to the music, and right now we're not playing with all the keys.
That was a good analogy.
I don't know.
It's a good analogy.
I thought it was cool because you're adding the sharps and the flats, because, you know, if you're just taking it out as it is, it's just very, like, it doesn't change it, but it adds that drama, you know, or whatever, or the melon or whatever, you know, the interesting stuff to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so okay, so the spiritual plane, we are on. Oh, this is where I was like, we're on the physical and mental plane, but the spiritual plane is one that we don't dabble a lot in as human beings. Mm-hmm. This is like we're all on the physical and mental plane.
Yeah.
But the spiritual plane is one that is kind of an unseen plane that we can't, you know, but is important.
So I'm using the law of correspondence here to come up with an understanding of that.
Yes.
So this is just one way to look at it.
The principle of correspondence.
If there's anything, correct. Oh, thank you. If there's anything that I've learned from all of this, is that there's many ways to look at something. Mm-hmm. Okay. And which that in itself is, and we'll get to that in another episode probably, because we'll get to like rhythm and like gender, right?
Yeah.
But so we have this in the Pomandries. There's this concept.
Dude, it all goes back to Pomandries, man.
Yeah. There's this concept when when Pomandres is talking to Hermes and after he gave the vision of the creation.
By the way, we've referenced this. We reference this all the time. That comes from the Corpus Hermeticum.
It's the first,
or the Hermetica.
The first book.
Depending on what version you have, but it's Pomandres or the Shepherd of Men. This one has a discourse of Hermes Trismegistus, Pomandres.
So if you have Copenhaver or if you have Walter Scott, then it's the first text. I think Mead has it as a second, right?
Mead has it as the first also, but
it was the other guy.
Westcott.
Yeah.
Anyway, so just remember the Shepherd of Men, not the man shepherd. What's that other one?
Shepherd of Hermes.
Shepherd. Oh yeah. Don't get it mixed up. That's a Christian.
In that text, and we have a episode that is just on that. So check that out. I think we did a decent job on that one too.
That one's a neat one.
Yeah.
That one has so much in it that you're just like because all the stuff I'm listening to, I'm like, wait, this is all contained in that.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great text. And so there's this, after he gets the vision of the creation, then he asks, Pomandres asks Hermes if he understands it. Hermes is like, they have a little bit of like, why are you asking such questions, Yeah. But anyways, one of the things that is brought up is how does one like, for lack of a better term, how does one become saved, or how does one return to the all, right? And there's a discussion. Pomandres explains that he has to shed, or was it the right word was he used in Copenhaver's was to de-energize or deactivate, but he has he gives 7 layers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
7 layers of things that he has to do as a human in order to break through the harmony.
Mm-hmm.
And so using the law of correspondence, I'm kind of seeing those 7 layers as the mental plane. And once he breaks through the harmony, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's this concept in a lot of religions of like the 7 heavens.
Yeah.
Once he breaks through the harmony, then he might be kind of like, in a video game way to look at it, he might have reached the first level 1 of the spiritual plane.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I'm looking at this. In my way of looking at it and trying to understand it, I'm seeing that level 1 of the spiritual plane is after the picture of that what's it called, the Flammarion engraving that we have.
Oh yeah, the guy's like
he's peeking through
the what is that, the dome or whatever?
Yeah,
and looking out, and then he's seeing the mechanics of the moon's on a rotating metal thing and stuff.
Yeah, he sees like the inner workings of like the universe around him.
Yeah.
To me, that's like my way of I interpret that as him breaking through the harmony, and that's like that's when he becomes on the plane of the spiritual plane.
Yeah. Well, and
he even tells Tat in one of the later discussions, like, I'm not human.
He's like, dude, you see me? Like, yeah, he does. He's like, you're looking at me, you're seeing my physical body.
Yeah.
He's like, but you don't know you actually don't even know what I am.
Yeah,
I'm not human anymore.
And he does say that.
Yeah.
And so that's how I look at the whole, like, the difference between the different planes. And that's, Hermes is basically saying he has leveled up enough where he's on the spiritual plane. And in Egyptian lore, Thoth does become a god.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the mortal, a mortal that becomes a god. That's at least as far as I understand.
And so, like, being a god might be like one of the lower levels of the spiritual plane.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what that's why I was saying, like, we're all stuck in the physical and the mental reality. That's our reality, and really what. You can move up in those, like you can move up, in the mental and physical, and I guess.
Yeah, you can lift weights, get up in the physical.
Yeah, but you can only. But here's the thing: is that our physical reality, and you can only do so much as a human being. You can only get so big. You're never going to be as strong as a gorilla. You'll never be able to jump as high as a kangaroo. Or I don't know. I think they can jump pretty high. I'm pretty sure that but I'm just saying. But your physical body can only go so far. Your mind, though, can help you. Can take you a little further. Can break something. You can fly. You can jump higher.
Yeah.
You can go higher. Fly. All this stuff. You can go so far but that's limited too. You can go into space, whatever. But it's the mental part. It's the spiritual plane.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That is the one that can take you to worlds beyond your wildest dreams. As far as they're saying, he's saying the spiritual plane is outside of our current worldview, and the spiritual plane. You have angels, archangels, gods. Remember when Skeletor's like, "I am a god." On the He-Man movie?
Yeah, the Masters of the Universe.
Because it was, what's his name? Rusty or whatever. Or Curly.
Yeah, it's Curly.
That guy from City
What's his
Slickers.
name? Jack Palance or something?
Yeah, he can do one arm push-up. He was a god though. Like at 70-something, he on one of the award shows, he did a one-arm push-up in the 70s. He is a god. But anyway.
That was a bonus.
So the unseen... And some of these unseen beings actually, according to this, are trying to help humankind to raise up.
Which is all part of the narrative, right?
Yeah.
It's like these. You take religious context or mythology after mythology after mythology. And especially when you look at it in the Law of Correspondence, and like you can see this in all of it. But you can see these similarities in all of them. Yeah.
And, but even those beings, these archangels, these gods and stuff, they are subject to universal law. This is natural law, universal law. And they are mortal even. This is kind of like...
Yeah, totally.
But they're at a low, their mortality is going a lot slower, or, they... And if you look at Buddhists and Hindu and stuff, I think they talk about this kind of stuff. And they are made from the mind of the all. So they're not above that. The highest plane of the spiritual realm is absolute spirit. That's whenever you were like this thing where you become one with God or whatever. Where I don't even know what that would even be. I have no clue.
Yeah.
But that's the where after that you're not. I don't know what happens, but okay. So spirit is used in the sense of an animating principle and carries the power, living energy, and mystic force, and. Okay, this is an interesting thing. He says these things may be used for good as well as evil ends.
Yeah, he does say that.
I.e., Satan, fallen angels, Lucifer.
Yeah.
What
Which I think that's I don't know if that's I don't really
and he says that's one of the reasons that these spiritual powers are kept secret.
Secret combinations.
Well, so they don't want him to get out because somebody can use them for bad.
Yeah,
but as far as I understand, I don't totally agree with that because I think that through mind reason, people have figured out how to manipulate people anyway. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't seem like people are going to do bad stuff, so whatever.
Yeah.
Evil's in the world just naturally.
Correct. Not through like shooting fireballs into a building or something.
It's not like, that's the thing is that, these secret things don't have don't corner the market. You know, if they get out, corner the market in evil, how evil stuff is done.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
No, it's a.
But
we're stuck with our different fairy tales and stuff. What makes it, and we have a hard time seeing how regular evil could be.
But so anyway, I mean, but then again, if you're gonna talk about angels and whatever, then why wouldn't you talk about another side of it?
Yeah, and they're really the same thing.
Yeah.
Just different sides of by law of polarity.
Maybe they just have different opinions about
just
what's
different
right.
vibration.
But anyway, so one of the ending, the way he ends this, I thought was good, because he finally kind of says, "Hey, all this stuff that we're going to talk about in the future, in these future chapters, are all correspondence," and he kind of says how they are.
Yeah, I'm talking about the ebb and the flow and the.
Well, here.
Which one?
If you want to, because I've been reading a lot. Like, see, I have them kind of numbered.
Oh, so yeah.
So it's like all 7 principles are in full operation on all of the planes.
7, the number 7 always comes around, doesn't it?
They like 7.
Yeah, they like 7. Lucky
7s.
The principle of mental substance, of course, applies to all the planes, for all are held in the mind of the all.
So there you go. That's the correspondence.
The principle of correspondence manifests in all, for there is a correspondence, harmony, and agreement between the several planes. The principle of vibration manifests on all planes. In fact, the very differences that go to make the planes arise from vibration, as we have explained. The principle of polarity manifests on each plane, the extremes of the poles being apparently opposite and contradictory.
So he's just like, hey, these are all on the plane. This is how they all correspond.
The principle of rhythm manifests in each plane, the movement of the phenomena having its ebb and flow, rise and flow, incoming and outgoing. The principle of cause and effect manifests on each plane, every effect having its cause and every cause having its effect.
It's funny, he's just kind of like
versus everything. Yeah. The principle of gender manifests on each plane.
Each gender having its...
The creative energy being always manifest and operating along the lines of its masculine and feminine aspects.
So we kind of, I thought at the end, finally, he kind of put a little bow on it. It was like, hey, these are all correspond because they're manifest in all the planes. That's what he meant by correspondence, is that all these principles are on all the planes, and that's why he went through the planes. And
so this chapter was...
And he's like Tattoo. The plane, boss. The planes.
What was that show called?
Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island. So this chapter wasn't on correspondence. Mm-mm. It was using correspondence.
It was using...
talking about the planes of existence.
The planes.
Or the planes of... Yeah. It was just merely using correspondence.
Yeah, which was weird because I was like... Because he used the thing as above, so below, as below, so above. So you thought he would...
Yeah.
But he kind of... This is one where I don't think he was super clear.
No.
About what he was talking about. But there's some good stuff in there. So...
Yeah.
Anyway, hopefully this may make some sense.
There's a good chance that...
I think there's always something in there that's like, oh, well... Because we sometimes it was like, wait. Actually, we found, oh, wait, this doesn't seem to work out.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, that's it for the law of or the principle of correspondence.
Other than the fact that everything from here out will include correspondence.
No, that's it for it. We will not ever say correspondence, even though he told us, like they're all correspondence.
But they're all everything. Everything's everything.
Like you said a while ago. Yeah. You're like, dude, it's all the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, funny when you read wait, gender.
These sound similar, but they're different.
The principle of gender is like masculine and feminine. It's like, yeah, that's polarity. right?
But different, yeah.
You know, or
I think it's just the
that's
reason
vibration. That's all
these ideas are cool is, you know, and they're a little different. They're different enough that to make you think deeper.
Yeah, there are different vibrations of the same concept.
Yeah, you could use this anyway, and that's what we're going to be talking about next is the principle of vibration.
Yeah.
So we'll end this one, right?
Yeah, let's do a separate episode for vibration.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure we've gone. What time is it? You playing, Bob?
Yeah, we're a good hour into it right now.
Okay, yeah, we'll do vibration because I got a lot of notes here.
Okay, cool. Hey,
so,
thanks for.
But actually, a bunch of these notes are on Garfield. So
thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the Garfield piece there.
That was probably the best.
Presented.
Garfield's they're gonna make a big comeback.
Yeah. Hopefully you didn't like drop off during my computer software and seed part.
No, that was good. Because at first I was like, wait, where's he going with this? And then I was like, oh yeah. I forgot what the connection was. I'm gonna have to listen to it again. That's one of the things I like to do though, by the way, is whenever we listen to the thing, I think I'm like, oh wait, that was said. Oh, that's cool, you know, because sometimes when we're in a conversation we're kind of but whenever you get a chance to actually sit back and listen to it, you know, you can, that was a good point. Or sometimes, actually you made a good point, you know. Like, sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I even surprise myself.
Okay, let's
but
end.
Brandon always blows my mind, man.
Well, I didn't say something that probably would have been a lot more, you know, I'll talk about it later.
Okay.
In another episode I'll mention, because I wanted to bring in the whole, like, pseudo randomness and, like, the whole tarot card stuff.
Ooh.
And how, like, the same thing. Anyways, we won't go there. But yeah, check us out for the next episode. It's gonna be on vibration, and let us know if you have any questions about some of the things that we might have talked about, and maybe if we weren't clear on something, maybe we can go back on it a little bit and
maybe
perhaps
or not.
Yeah, if you're one of the epic people from Kentucky, we might do it. Or
oh yeah, hey, real quick. I mean, I know we got some people from all over, but you know, Pennsylvania in particular, who's been, you know, leaving some comments and stuff. But I don't know what's going on in Kentucky, but they're doing something right because we're getting all our views from them. So not all of them, but I'm just saying, shout out.
Yeah, Australia, Norway. Wasn't there like Nepal? Unless someone's using a VPN and listening to our stuff over a VPN. Yeah. So we'll see.
Which is fine, but or everybody's using their VPN for Kentucky. Anyway, shout out.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you next time.
Okay.